Tax on income, Section 2 definitions. The term person means an individual, a trust, estate, or corporation. B. The term corporation shall include partnership, no matter how created or organized, joint stock companies, joint accounts, associations, or insurance companies, but does not include general professional partnerships and a joint venture or consortium formed for the purpose of undertaking construction projects or engaging in petroleum, coal, geothermal, and other energy operations pursuant to an operating or consortium agreement under a service contract with the government. General professional partnerships are partnerships formed by persons for the sole purpose of exercising their common profession, no part of the income of which is derived from engaging in any trade or business. C. The term domestic, when applied to a corporation, means created or organized in the Philippines or under its laws. She, D. The term foreign, when applied to a corporation, means a corporation which is not domestic. A. E. The term non-resident citizen means a citizen of the Philippines who established to the satisfaction of the commissioner the fact of his physical presence abroad with a definite intention to reside therein. 2. A citizen of the Philippines who lives the Philippines during the taxable year to reside abroad either as an immigrant or for employment on a permanent basis. 3. A citizen of the Philippines who works and derives income from abroad and whose employment thereat requires him to be physically present abroad most of the time during the taxable year. 4. A citizen who has been previously considered as non-resident citizen and who arrives in the Philippines at any time during the taxable year to reside permanently in the Philippines shall likewise be treated as a non-resident citizen for the taxable year, in which he arrives in the Philippines with respect to his income derived from the source abroad until the date of his arrival in the Philippines. 5. The taxpayer shall submit proof to the commissioner to show his intention of leaving the Philippines to reside permanently abroad or to return to and reside in the Philippines as the case may be for the purpose of this section. Letter F. The term resident alien means an individual whose residence is within the Philippines and who is not a resident thereof. G. The term non-resident alien means an individual whose residence is not within the Philippines and who is not a citizen thereof. H. The term resident foreign corporation applies to a foreign corporation engaged in trade or business within the Philippines. I. The term non-resident foreign corporation applies to a foreign corporation not engaged in trade or business within the Philippines. J. The term fiduciary means a guardian, trustee, executor, administrator, receiver, conservator, or any person acting in any fiduciary capacity for any person. K. The term withholding agent means any person required to deduct and withhold any tax under the provisions of Section 57. L. The term shares of stock shall include shares of stock of a corporations, warrant and or option to purchase shares of stock, as well as units of participation in a partnerships, joint stock companies, joint accounts, joint ventures taxable as corporations, associations and recreation or amusement clubs, and mutual fund certificate. M. The term shareholder shall include holders of a shares of stock, warrants, and or options or to purchase shares of stock of a corporation, as well as a holder of the unit of participation in a partnership, in a joint stock company, a joint account, a taxable joint, a taxable joint venture, a member of an association, creation or amusement club, and a holder of a mutual fund certificate, a member in an association, joint stock company, or insurance company. And the term taxpayer means any person subject to tax imposed by this title. O, the terms including and includes, when used in definition contained in this title, shall not deem to exclude other things otherwise within the meaning of the term defined. The term taxable year means the calendar year or the fiscal year ending during such calendar year, upon the basis of which the net income is computed under the title. Taxable year taxable year includes in the case of a return made for a fractional part of the year under the provisions of this title or under rules and regulations prescribed by the Secretary of Finance upon recommendation of the Commissioner, the period for which such return is made. Q. The term fiscal year means an accounting period of 12 months ending on the last day of any month other than December 31. R. The terms paid or incurred and paid or accrued shall be construed according to the method of accounting upon the basis of which the net income is computed under this title. Okay. The term trade or business includes the performance of the functions of a public office. T. The term securities means shares of stock in a corporation and rights to subscribe for or to receive such share. The term includes bonds, debentures, notes or certificates, or other evidence of indebtedness issued by any corporation, including those issued by a government or political subdivision hereof, with interest coupons or any registered form. The term leader in securities means a merchant of stocks or securities, whether an individual, partnership, or corporation with an established place of business, regularly engaged in the purchase of securities and the resale thereof to customers. That is one who, as a merchant, buys securities and resells them to customers with a view to the gains and profits that may be derived therefrom. The term bank means any banking institution as defined in Section 2 of the Republic Act 337 as amended, otherwise known as the General Banking Act. A bank may either be a commercial bank, a thrift bank, a development bank, a rural bank, or a special government bank. The term non-bank financial intermediary means a financial intermediary as defined in Section 2, the letter C of Republic Act 337 as amended, authorized by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to perform quasi-banking activities. The term quasi-banking activities means borrowing funds from 20 or more personal or corporate lenders one time at any one time through the issuance, endorsement, or acceptance of debt instrument or any kind other than deposit for the borrower's own account or through the issuance of certificate of assignment or similar instrument with recourse or repurchase agreement for purposes of relending or purchasing receivables and other similar obligations, provided, however, that commercial, industrial, and other non-financial companies which borrow funds through any of these means for the limited purpose of financing their own needs or the needs of their agents or leaders shall not be considered as performing quasi-banking functions. The term deposit substitutes shall mean an alternative form of obtaining funds from the public other than deposits through the issuance and through the issuance, endorsement, or acceptance of debt instrument for the borrower's own account, for the purpose of relending or purchasing of receivables and other obligations, or financing their own needs and or the needs of their agent or dealer. These instruments may include but need not be limited to bankers' acceptances, promissory notes, repurchase agreement, including reverse repurchase agreement, entered into by and between the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and any authorized agent bank, certificate of assignment or participation, and similar instrument with recourse, provided, however, that the debt instrument issued for interbank call loans with maturity of not more than 5 days to cover deficiency is reserved against deposit liabilities, those between, including those between and among banks and quasi-banking, shall not be considered as deposit substitute debt instrument. The term ordinary income the term ordinary income includes any gain from the sale or exchange of property which is not a capital asset or property described in section 39A number 1. Any gain from the sale or exchange of property which is treated or considered under other provisions of this title as ordinary income shall be treated as gain from the sale of exchange of property which is not a capital asset as defined in section 39A number 1. The term ordinary loss includes any loss from the sale or exchange of property which is not a capital asset, any loss from the sale or exchange of property which is treated or considered under other provisions of this title as ordinary loss shall be treated as loss from the sale or exchange of property which is not a capital asset. The term rank and file employees shall mean all employees who are holding neither managerial or supervisory position as defined under existing provisions of the Labor Code of the Philippines as amended. The term mutual fund company shall mean an open and closed-end investment company as defined under the Investment Act. The term trade, business, or profession shall not include the performance of services by the taxpayers as employee. The term regional or area headquarters shall mean a branch established in the Philippines by multinational companies in which headquarters do not earn or derive income from the Philippines and which act as supervisory, communications, and coordinating centers for their affiliates, subsidiaries, or branches in the Asia Pacific region or other foreign. The term regional operating headquarters shall mean a branch established in the Philippines by multinational companies which are engaged in any of the following services: general administration and planning, business planning and coordination, sourcing and procurement of raw materials and components, corporate finance advisory services, marketing control and sales promotion, training and personal management, logistics services, research and development services and product development, technical support and maintenance, data processing and communication, and business development. The term long-term deposit or investment certificate shall refer to certificate of time deposit or investment in the form of savings, common or individual trust funds, deposit substitute, investment management accounts, and other investment with a maturity period of not less than 5 years, the form of which shall be prescribed by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and issued by banks only to the individuals in denominations of 10,000 pesos and other denominations as may be prescribed by the BSP. The terms statutory minimum wage earner. The term statutory minimum wage earner shall refer to rate fixed by the Regional Tripartite Wage and Productivity Board as defined by the Bureau of Labor Employment Statistics or BLES of the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE. The term minimum wage earner shall refer to a worker in the private sector paid by the statutory minimum wage or to an employee in the public sector with a compensation income of not more than the statutory minimum wage in the non-agricultural sector where he or she is assigned.